and I am delighted to welcome you this morning for this first talk on disrupting hunger with AI. For this talk, I would like to introduce Mr. Bernhard Kowatsch, who is the head of the planetary innovation at the United Nations World Food Programme, the WFP, as well as Mr. Armin Wedler, who is the head of the Innovation Accelerator at DLR Robotics Institute. Bernhard, Armin, the floor is yours.
Much. Thank you so much, Charlene, and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us here for Disrupting Hunger with AI. It's my great pleasure, and I think we're becoming one person because so I'm actually leading innovation at the World Food Program. Armin is doing planetary exploration robotics at the German Aerospace Center, but. We're going to talk about how technology such as artificial intelligence can make a step change in the fight against hunger and also end hunger. Now, I'll first give a couple of highlights and examples of quick things that just snapshots of projects. And there's a couple of colleagues from the World Food Program as well in the audience that you can actually talk to and learn more about those innovations. And then Armin is going to go do a deep dive into a robotics AI solution that we're actually working on for conflict zones, but some of the harshest places. Now, World Food Program, before we dive into this, a lot of you will know is the world's largest humanitarian organization fighting hunger, reaching about 160 million people in 120 countries and territories. And why do we talk about AI? It's really, right now, we're living in a global food crisis, so 345 million people marching towards starvation. One of the ways how we believe we can make a difference is investing in new technologies, using technologies such as artificial intelligence so that we are more efficient, more effective, but also are able to then serve people a lot better than ever before possible. Now, I'm leading our Accelerator now, which is essentially the center globally for the World Food Program, where we work on these types of innovations, support startups, support innovations across the globe, to identify, support, and scale them, but we also run accelerator programs for other global players. And so it's great to be here and welcome all of you to actually at our stage. Now, let's first talk about one of the innovations and starting at the beginning, which is called Hunger Map Live. So in case you want to check this out, it's actually publicly available, hungermap.wfp.org. Has been developed by our team that's working on research, analysis, and monitoring, essentially with the goal to near real-cast food security across the globe. So you will see that World Food Program would be actually working on, doing ground surveys, text messages, robocalls, different ways of how we're servicing, how we're actually finding out where hungry people are and how hungry they are. Now, this model now uses artificial intelligence, and where we don't have ground data, for instance, using nightlight analysis and satellite data to do that. And even with the German Aerospace Center, the team is right now working with our support also on, actually even projecting the future, future food security, which is of course where we want to go. It's not just about why we're doing this. We want to know where are hungry people, so they get the food assistance they need at the right time, at the right place. That's essentially the question that we're answering there. Now, if you check out Hunger Map Live, there's different you can actually look at this, where in this case, this is Syria, which is a really, really dire situation right now, where World Food Program right now also had to actually cut rations because of lack of funding. But thanks to Hunger Map Live, we now have daily or weekly updates on the food security situation in the country. And again, this is publicly available. Check it out, hungermap.wfp.org. Another example, and this is spreading into the realm of what's the potential, what's the opportunity? I want to mention Ignitia. Ignitia is a startup that we've supported as Innovation Accelerator. They are essentially providing smallholder farmers with data that hasn't been accessible to them before. So it's essentially Imagine you're a large farmer, a large farming company. You have data to like weather forecasts, when to plant, when to grow, when to sow. Like you actually know by technology what you need to do to optimize your crops. Ignitia makes this accessible to smallholder farmers using artificial intelligence and satellite data. 2.6 million smallholder farmers that are already benefiting from that, and about 20% income increase is possible doing that. Imagine they don't have to do anything else other than now get information at the at their fingertips that's now available to those people in developing countries, smallholder farmers. Another example, and that has been developed by supply chain colleagues at the World Food Programme, it's called Optimus. Optimus is a supply chain optimization tool that's also optimizing food baskets, supply chain optimization, using big data analytics. In the last couple of years, using this tool, it has already saved more than $50 million in supply chain optimization, the food baskets, and so on. So going to show like AI, is it just pilots? Is it just small? No, actually, this is being used at World Food Programme at scale right now. In 44 countries, last year it optimized the food baskets for about 7 million people already. And now, the last example, and this is something that I'm really excited about because it's also like a forward-looking one. There's something that Google has developed for us for free as an open source technology. It's called Project Sky, SKAI. And what it does, it actually uses satellite imagery and AI to identify buildings and damage assessments of buildings. And doing this automated within 24 to 48 hours, which previously would have taken anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, people manually looking at pictures. So imagine this, in an emergency situation, we use this now in the Syrian Turkey earthquake response earlier this year. Within 48 hours, you have more accurate information, like with 80% accuracy about like where are more destruction of buildings in one area versus the other, which allows us as a humanitarian organization to actually deliver food or food assistance or position food stocks into those areas so we can be quicker in helping people and lifting them out of hunger and ensure that they are actually not going into like severe and acute hunger situations. Now, that was all like, really running through. There's a couple of colleagues here in the audience. If you want to learn more about Hunger Map Live, about Optimus, about Sky, like we also have a booth upstairs. My colleague Armin is there. Like there's lots of things we can do. Sky is open source. Give directly use this to actually in the hurricane response last year to provide cash grants to people in Florida after Hurricane Ian. So this is accessible, shows the power of AI, but now we actually want to go, and this is where Armin comes in. Armin is going to talk about something that's probably on the furthest frontier of how we can use artificial intelligence and robotics for fighting hunger and helping hungry people. Armin, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Bernhard, and thank you, ITU, for having me here and having the possibility to present our project. So, as mentioned already in the introduction, I'm from German Aerospace Center, so we are the research institute, but we're also the agency in Germany handling space developments. I'm coming directly from the Institute of Robotics and Mechatronics, so we have 400 people really researching deeply on robotics and advanced in robotics in AI. We have also a lot of spin-offs. Some of known robots in the round are mainly based on our developments. We have space activities, so we are mainly developing, so our main target is develop advances for space. And what I show you with the HAT project, Autonomous Humanitarian Emergency Help Aid Device, is an application where we, let's say, transformed all the technologies, or not all, but somehow the technologies developed in DLR towards space awareness, towards space exploration, to apply it to humanitarian help. And that I'm very happy and thankful to have this cooperation with the World Food Innovation Accelerator in Munich, that we have this close contact and we have really this use case where we could apply our technology. So our idea here is to make a last mile delivery in regions where food cannot be delivered in actual cases. And this project I've established with Bernhard together 4 years ago. even before knowing about COVID, even before knowing about all this situation we have currently running out. So, and it has been turned out that protect drivers and bring drivers out of a safe, in a safe region is so important. And that's why we focus here in the AHEAD project on the autonomous teleoperated functionality of food delivery trucks in harsh regions. And what I show you here in this video is, let's say, our first test setup. The projects are running. We currently acquire something like 4 or 5 million on this booth. That's our test facility in nearby Munich, where we did the first test. Wait a second. I think the video is stopping. Can you restart the video, please? Oh, yeah. Yeah, anyway, what is shown in this video is the whole mission. Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. Goes.
Just continue.
Maybe just start the video. So what the aim of this project is to have a local mission operation center transported to a safe area, and from there on do all the communication, do all the assessment of teleoperation food delivery trucks. And we have brought to us an amphibious vehicle, which is this shared vehicle, which is able to swim, to go in flooded areas, to go in overwhelmed areas, but is also able to drive on non-really made streets. It jumps always to the next slide. Sorry, I was. So we have shown in this video. Maybe you can just start the video on an offline without the PowerPoint. Sorry. So what we have done for now, for the first 3 years or 4 years of project runtime, is that we have managed to establish the full technology. We apply developments we have done for autonomous navigation on rovers. So we had 2018, we had launched a little robot on an asteroid, Ryugu, with JAXA and the CNES together, where we show autonomous functionalities in hobbing mechanism on an autonomous drive. What you see here is, let's say, what we advanced for rovers, to teleoperate rovers on Martian, on lunar surfaces. And we have seen this Global Mission Operations Center, which is already established and working, and is doing, let's say, also acquisition. It's was Bernhard presented with Sky. So they're doing satellite image fusion of data. So they analyze it. So they have, let's say, a emergency access to all this data. We have we have invented this teleoperation station. This is very near to how the SHARP is currently operated, because it's a Ukrainian vehicle. Unfortunately, also didn't know because all this happening. So it's an Ukrainian company which does build up this vehicle, and we only automatize it. It doesn't have a steering wheel because I have this skid steering, which is very much like Martian rovers or moon rovers, less than cars. And it can go almost everywhere. So it can really go steep slopes and very high regions. And what is shown already in our project sheet is that World Food Program is applying these vehicles. I think something like 50 are already in the field. They are operated by drivers, and especially in some use cases. So we have identified one specific use case, which is South Sudan, where repeatedly every year for something like 3-4 months, due to floods, a lot of the population is not reachable. So we would like to make that really functional in South Sudan, this technology. And what we have done for now is really solve the communication issue. We have, as you could have seen in the teleoperation area, so we have teleoperation cameras, we have an autonomous navigation mapping system, so we do full SLAM on the system. We have also a variety of communication assets on top, so we have a Starlink antenna on top. That's a normal levers, which comes from the ATV shared vehicle. And we automatize them with our spin-off company, Sensor Drive here, so that we have this mechanical interface toward electric. So we can control everything from this remote station here. That's Paul, for example, a WFP employee from the fleet division. And you can see here, that's a 3D map, a danger map, which automatically generated. And you can see like stereo cameras watching in the front and the left. And then here we have the map from the Global Mission Operations Center. So we get a like Houston, like in space, we have a main mission operations center, which later in the field probably will be World Food Program headquarter somehow, which gives us a mission target, and then a tail operation, local mission operation center will make this last mile delivery. And we hope that with this technology, we can enhance the World Food Program or even other organizations, non-governmental organizations, to reach areas to solve the SDG, let's say zero hunger, work on that. So thanks to all the partners and thanks especially also to my team here. I could present it, and sorry a bit, it was the last minute implementation of the video, so it's not at all their fault. No, I think it's repeatedly running. So
maybe just to say, what is interesting about this, like, and this is where if you're in the audience, you have other use cases, like we're grateful for the German aerospace centers, like help in developing this, where an application of like robotics, AI, like Mars and Moon rover kind of capabilities for humanitarian purposes. What is interesting here, like if you think about the opportunities that we're having, right? This could be used for either where we don't have enough drivers that are skilled to drive the vehicle, or it's too dangerous, going through a minefield, or like where, I don't know, like the roads are not safe, right? But so right now, sometimes we have to revert to like airdrops or other aspects. This is an technology, if used, there could be real like life-changing use case using that type of technology that we already see for like self-driving cars, but now this is a really a lot more extreme case scenario. If you want to get in touch, reach out, innovation.lfp.org. You'll find both Armin and myself on LinkedIn. Thank you very much for your attention, and keep on disrupt hunger with AI. Thank you.
thank you.